Alright, so I'm here now playing some Mario Kart Tour, a game that really redeemed itself in my eyes, and in all honesty, I remember when this was first announced, I was pretty excited. Something I'm going to do a lot in this whole discussion is compare it to Fire Emblem Heroes, because that was really the basis I had to work with Nintendo and mobile games and conversions of console handheld games to phones, and was really the main phone game I even played, even still to this date. But like I said, I really liked Heroes. I thought they did a good job, and I thought, Mario Kart's another great franchise, a lot of potential with this sort of thing. And I remember I actually even got in to the beta. I don't know how easy or difficult of a thing that was, but it was the first time I had ever gotten into one before, though, so that was really cool, and I played the shit out of it. I tried to do everything within reason, unlocking all the rewards, maxing out my ranking or whatnot. And then the game launched, and then I didn't play it for too much longer. I forget when exactly it launched, but I remember specifically quitting around Halloween time, which is ironic because I began playing again around Halloween time. I wanted to give it another shot when I heard they redid the economy, which was one of the, if not the biggest issues I had with the game originally. But I just sort of put it off, and then it just so happened to be in the mood to finally give it that other shot, probably around the time I initially quit years and years ago. But originally, though, the economy, from what I remember, was really bad. Granted, I may not remember it perfectly because it was a while ago, but at least in Heroes, even though it is a gotcha thing, you feel like you have a little bit of control, even back then, before you had the guarantee after 40 summons, because you can at least focus on a certain weapon type, and you sort of knew the odds, and you had dedicated banners where certain focus characters would be slightly easier to get. But then when this came out, I don't remember if they had any sort of focus, like the warp pipes is how you summon different things. But I don't remember if they had any focuses, but I remember you couldn't even pick what you wanted. Like, you can get a cart, you can get a character, you can get the glider, or you can even just get level up materials and such. So, I don't know, losing that control, it just, I don't know, it felt a lot more predatory, and it left me kind of salty towards the other thing. And a couple other things that really got me too was, one, the sort of wait a while for actual online gameplay and battle mode, which was stuff that, I don't know, could argue should have been there at launch, or I don't know, maybe I was just being impatient or expecting too much for a mobile game. But and then the other thing too was that you couldn't replay courses, and at the time I didn't really get it. Like, now with sort of different rotating and courses and being a live service game, it kind of makes sense. I see what they were going for now. But when I'm used to Heroes and you can go back and play any of the missions or maps you liked at any point, to not have that, especially with Mario Kart tracks too, where there's a lot of really iconic ones, like that just all really rubbed me the wrong way. So it was kind of, I was waiting for an excuse, I guess, to quit playing. And looking back, it was kind of stupid. But at the time, like I said, I was looking for anything, and I remember I really wanted to unlock Pauline. I just thought it was really cool to finally have her playable in a Mario Kart game. I think she's a cool character. Rosalina is a character I'm not as big on. I think she's a little overutilized, appearing in, Smash and all the different spin-offs and that, especially compared to Pauline. But I remember that I think they introduced Halloween Rosalina, which was essentially a different colored dress, and I think they gave her like a witch hat or something. And I remember I'm like trying to summon Pauline for all this time, and then I get Halloween Rosalina, and I'm just like, fuck this. Can't replay maps I like. I'm not getting the content I want. It's just not worth it. At that point, I don't remember how frequently they were adding like the brand new tour exclusive maps that were based on real world locations and that. But at that point, I'm like, they're probably gonna bring it to like a mainline eventually, which they would with the booster course pack way down the line. But I figured I would just wait at that point. One of the downsides, minor complaint, is I actually recently had to reinstall the game. And as you can see, everything is marked new all over again, which sort of triggers that little bit of OCD in me. Now I've got to try to not necessarily play the characters that it would be best to play, just because I want to get rid of all of those notifications. It's probably going to take a while because I have a lot more content now, but it's a minor complaint. I guess while I'm complaining, another thing I want to complain about is sort of the system they have. Like, I compare it to Tempest Trials from Fire Emblem Heroes, to where it's sort of a rank thing. You try to get the high score compared to other players, and you get rewards for placing so high. But it's always you're placed against a random, like, I don't know, 20 people. And it's based on your ranking, so you can just get really unlucky. You can be versing someone, like I guess me in this instance, to where I haven't played the ranking mode last time, so I'm ranked a little lower than I probably should be. So I made it easier on myself, yet someone who's actually that rank would have a hard time beating me and getting the rewards. Right now you can unlock Wiggler, so that kind of sucks, but like I said, it would kind of suck on my end too, because I would be ranked too high, and then there's people who have been playing non-stop who probably just have a lot more resources to get a lot higher score than me. So, I don't know, I wish it was different. Like, I feel like in Heroes, because I think they increased the reward, and maybe they do here, but I haven't really noticed to where, like, the top tier rewards, where it might be only the first person would get them in the first 10 tiers, maybe the first 2 or 3 people would get them in tiers 11 to 15, and maybe the first 4 or 5 people would get them in tiers 16 to 20, or something like that. But like I said, I haven't noticed that sort of thing. When I was at my highest rank, it was still only the first person able to get everything out of the reward. And even if they increased the rewards, but not necessarily some of the more limited time stuff like characters and that, but if they increase like level up materials and such, that's not as big of a deal. I think Heroes might do something like that as well. But yeah, the shop is now, I mean, I would say it's got a pretty fair economy. Like, I don't know the exact ratio, and it can sort of vary based on how much you're playing, or if you have the gold pass, which I've been in and out of the gold pass. Like I think I've said before with Heroes, I don't mind putting a little money down if I'm to support the game, if I'm playing and enjoying it frequently, even if it is a free-to-play thing, and you can argue the morality, I guess, of battle passes and that sort of thing. But at least it's straightforward what you're getting. Like I said, I think it's a more fair reward and structure, especially compared to Heroes, which is twice as expensive, and the rewards are questionable stuff that should have been free and that sort of thing. But that's a whole other topic. But I feel like relatively easily you can save up maybe 150 of the currency you need to buy stuff. I forget what it is exactly. It might be like item boxes or something. You can also get stuff with coins, which you get in the races, and there's special green ones that are exclusive to the tour. But then the premium items are with that other currency, so that's kind of what matters a little more. But the characters, I think, are the most expensive thing, and they're only 150, and I feel like you can reasonably get 150 of the currency if you play everything, like, once a month, and I think that's decently fair to get, to browse the shop and try to get the thing you want the most once a month. Like, it's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. A lot better than just a randomized thing. It's definitely one of those things, though, where you don't feel like you're ever going to get caught up with it. I'm actually going to save that one. Something to do with your daily... Like, the thing you saw me do first, they'll have, like, a daily thing, and they'll automatically set you to a character. So if you're not maxed out with a character, which is probably the most important thing, because you need, for high scores in that, all of the item slots. So, like I said, that'll help me get a higher score there, because you always get that when you replay it on their daily mission. Which I guess is also, it's another negative thing sometimes, is sometimes you'll get like a starting mission, or if you're only doing certain tracks, and then you might just want to skip that daily mission, but it'll stay there. It always just stays at the most, like the earliest listed course you haven't played yet that isn't part of their ranked challenge thing. So, it kind of sucks to get stuck, not be able to skip. Another thing I wish you could skip too with it is that they have an auto mode, which I think is meant for photos more, but you can use it to just sort of quickly grind out and maybe do some challenges you also don't feel like doing. But the bad part is, like, you can set it to where you have a certain formation and you automatically win, but you can't just skip, because it's really a waste of time. There's no point to it. You're gonna win. It would, I don't know, save time. I just sort of do it when I have other stuff going on and have it in the background, but it would be nice to not have that, I guess. That, or even just offer 200cc for auto mode when you're not subscribed to Gold Pass, which is their Battle Pass thing, just so you could make it through that as quick as possible. But like I said, only in auto mode I can kind of understand wanting to have some sort of major perk with their Battle Pass system, aside from the rewards, some gameplay stuff. I actually have it right now, mainly because it's actually... Oh, that's another one where... Because then I don't want to do battle mode either, so I'll just... What it turns into, honestly, at this point, is just trying to get eliminated as quick as possible. I've never been a big fan, admittedly, of battle mode. But in this game, there's only like 3 or 4 courses, and it's all balloon battles. So, I either just put my phone down and wait for myself to get eliminated, or like I said, I'm just going to try to get eliminated as quick as possible. Hope I get some green shells I can deflect on a wall right into me without someone dashing in front of me incidentally. Of course, I don't get any stuff. Bananas are good for this too, though. I can turn around and get them. Come on, green shell. Damn. Can't even get hit by the bomb. I think you would normally in mainline Mario Kart. Oh, damn, it didn't take that one for some reason. I'm invincible now, so nothing matters. That's one thing I think could stay in toward this frenzy mode. I think it fits here, but I definitely... There's some stuff I would want to see. I'm going to dive into a little later. Stuff I would like to see make a transition to mainline, but the frenzy thing, it's not one of them. Like I said, I think it's fine here. A nice little twist. I hope you enjoy my Tommy Wiseau or Johnny from the Room me, but I wound up getting Gold Pass again recently just because I was kind of in the mood to do some of the city tracks, and they had like a whole pretty city central theme, so I thought if I was going to be doing most of the races, might as well get the max rewards for it. It had been a little while. Plus I kind of liked the Gladiator Donkey Kong they introduced. And then we got a really cool new track in this tour. I think we might get to it here. Then I might have one more layout to go on with it, but I guess it's actually based in concept off of a cut Mario Kart DS track, and I think that's really cool when they revisit and give some of these forgotten. And so it felt like a good time to do this thing, because, like I said, I think that was really cool that they did, and there's been a lot more talk around Mario Kart, I feel like I've seen recently. Maybe it's just me, but I saw like the new booster course pack came out. People were making like Mario Kart rosters around it. And then in this game, I saw some rumors. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not really that deep into the speculation rumor scene or whatever, but people were saying, I guess there was data mines people did, and they would always be so far ahead to where we'll just say, if it's July now, when I'm recording this, that you would see the tours through August. And then after all of July's tours are updated, by that point you would see all of September's tours. I guess that stopped happening, though, and it coincides with the anniversary this year, so I guess there's some questioning whether they're going to be stopping support, at least for new content. I think a lot of people, including myself, kind of think and hope that they would keep the game alive, maybe, hopefully, for preservation, offer some sort of offline functionality, at least, but even, I guess, for a year or so, just cycle through some tours and such, and hope the community eventually finds a way to preserve the game. But yeah, I feel like I joined at a good time, because I had a little bit of a feeling that they probably wouldn't stop supporting the game while they were doing the booster course pack, so I figured worst case scenario they ended around the same time as the booster course pack, which seems to be what might be happening, allegedly. So if I start around Halloween, that's like a whole other year. The booster course pass is still supposed to be going around that point, so I figured you'd probably cycle through pretty much everything. And actually within 6 months, I actually had a spreadsheet with originally everything that I had raced on, but I eventually turned it into everything I hadn't raced on, in terms of stuff I can play in a mainline game. And there's not a lot left, actually. There's the track Piranha Plant Pipeline. We'll show it off here. Now there's only maybe a dozen tracks I haven't raced on, or variants of tracks, and it's not a lot, all things considered. There is a lot of content in this game now, because, I don't know, I was thinking that through the years I wasn't playing, they probably, I don't know, maybe a new costume and track a month. I knew they did do 2 tours a month. I figured one would get a new costume, one would get a new track, and that would be it. Turns out they get multiple tracks and sometimes multiple costumes. Granted, I feel recently they've been focusing a lot on Mii costumes, which aren't as exciting. But, I mean, they've been doing this for years, which is really cool. So there was a lot to get caught up on, but within 6 months or so, I sort of hit a good place to where there's not that much left, and I can mainly just focus on what I eventually planned to focus on when I got caught up, which is just playing the content that's not in mainline games, which would essentially be each track has a trick layout with these different ramps and that you see me going off of, and a reverse trick, which I guess was added later. It wasn't originally part of the game. So each track has 4 layouts. That's not even, like, they never brought in mirror mode. Like, with mirror mode, if they went all out with it, you can have 8 layouts per track, which is insane. Like I was saying, I was kind of thinking that would be a good idea to bring in some of the ideas they had here, and can you imagine how cool it would be? Like, I know we kind of get content relatively regularly now with the booster course pack, but imagine if, like, almost like Splatoon-ish, Like if you got updates like every week or month where you got these different layouts of the tracks, up to 8 different variants, and some new costumes in that to come back to, whether you let it pile on or you just keep coming back every, week or month or whatever. And I feel like at least coming out with these different layouts at the very least is probably not as bad as a completely new and original track. And I guess even some of the costumes, they might have some work done on them from this game or from various other games. Like, I think that would be really cool. Another thing that I think would be really cool, that was really cool with this game is, well, first off, they brought back character items, which I guess is meant to incentivize collecting more characters, but I thought that was a cool idea in Double Dash, and it's great to see that back. And another really good idea I missed was mission mode. Granted, I haven't played mission mode in DS in a really long time, so I don't know how well it holds up, but I feel like in here it gets a little more tedious than I sort of remember it being. Because it's a lot of the same challenges, and some of them are a little similar. I don't think it necessarily overstays its welcome, but I don't find myself super excited about them after a little bit. I eventually just play the tracks that have the new layouts or whatever, the ones I haven't raced at yet. Depending on if it's a challenge I like there's some of them that I wasn't a big fan of, like time trials are kind of boring and that sort of thing. There's some that are essentially just races with special conditions. But, some of them are good. Like, I like you saw me smashing Goombas, and I think there's one where you go after dry boneses that are moving around, and glider challenge, trick challenge. That's the one thing I like about this game, too. I wouldn't mind having a mode in mainline Mario Kart where it's this point system. Like, you can do good here now. I could finish 8th, but yet still get really good points and 5 stars on the map, which may not be the best system, but I think having a sort of trick, try to build the high score thing like they have here is pretty fun. And could have its own mode in mainline. But they also have challenges based around combos and gliding and doing certain tricks that would get you those points too. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I think when you do all the tracks, the daily challenge becomes the first track that you're not 5-star at, if I'm not mistaken, too. Which, like I said, I don't know. I wish you could control that a little more, or maybe have it be a little more random. Another complaint, which is I know is a big turnoff for a lot of people with this game, was lack of Bluetooth controller support. Because I think it would be really cool to play it with a little more authentic Mario Kart controls. Granted, I understand that the game's sort of built around the touch controls, and you might have to restructure the points system and some of the different, tiers for like the 5-star, 4-star, 3-star stuff. Because then it might be easier or harder to chain together combos and that sort of thing. But, I think it would be worth it and bring in a whole slew of new players, honestly. Would definitely help, I think. I would be into it. So yeah, this game completely redeemed itself in my eyes. Like I said, I wasn't sure how exactly I'd feel coming back to it after having such a roller coaster, I guess, of feelings about the game from when it first launched and that. Oh shit. See, I'm still gonna get I think this was a later one, so 6,000 probably isn't good. But if this was like an earlier track, I'd still get 5 stars. It's still 4, that's not bad, all things considered. I have no specific future wishes for the game, I guess. I just keep doing what you're doing. I have some of my currency saved up for, I want to get the Mario Party themed Toad, and I want to get, I guess these are my most wanted at this point, Nabbit. I was sort of thinking about getting Meowser too, but then he was a featured character, and there's a discount in the store on featured characters, and I missed out on my opportunity then, so it's kind of like I have a hard time justifying it now since I already sort of snoozed on that opportunity. So I don't know, maybe a new Bowser variant would be cool. think there's a couple tracks that don't have an RT layout too. So for, like I said, my own OCD, I kind of hope they even that out and everything gets one when all's said and done. But yeah, like content drops too. Like I said, with how much content they put in the tour, like that's like in Mario Kart. There's what four events in a cup. I mean, you easily get like 2 cups per tour, like a cup a week, like that. That's pretty good content, I think.